Hello everyone, welcome back to Ratatouille. Just backtracking here. You can't go into the dream sequences while you're in a mission, as we just were at the end of the last video, and so I went on back here to this next dream sequence, which is Stakeout, and as you can tell, the theme is like barbecue meats. I think this is like Capicola here that I'm hopping on right now, and I'm actually pretty bad at remembering what the different names for different preparations of beef are and meat, like brisket and all that. Like, I don't know what everything is called. I'm not a meat man. Well, I mean, I am a meat man. I do eat quite a bit of meat. But I'm not like a meat expert or anything even close to that. So, I wanted to finish a thought that I was trying to finish at the end of the last video, which was another example of something kind of like this game. That was amazing on my part. A quality that this game has that a lot of things had for me back in Nam. And that is, using, like, common everyday objects put together to build, like, a thing together. And in, like, a resourceful way. And I just always found that really cool when I was a kid. And I was thinking about it at the end of that video, and then it left my brain, and then it came back afterward while I was editing the last video. And an example of something that has had that in my adult life is Mad Max Fury Road, because all of the cars and all of the a lot of just the like environments, like the Citadel and everything, not only are they designed with very specific story intentions in mind, but they're all put together by, like, different common items, and you can kind of see, like, the character in, whatever character drives that car or what have you, and you see, like, the history in them and the thrown togetherness of their vehicles and such, and no wonder I latched onto that movie so quickly. And yeah, the trick with this is you have to be holding forward to jump over these obstacles, and it took me a number of tries to not suck at doing that. I also guess I want to apologize for this video being late. I was gonna put it up on Friday like usual, but this part is a little bit weird when you're hopping on these weenies. What was my excuse? Oh yeah, I got held up at work much longer than I was expecting yesterday. And I was there from 8 until, like, 5, and it was not as late as I didn't think it was gonna be that late. Oh, I got all the fucking stars. I didn't even know that. I didn't remember doing that. I recorded this one, like, a week ago, so... Anyway, but I got home and I was tired as shit. I hadn't eaten all day, so I just wanted to eat. I ate some food from one of the halal food trucks in Philly, which I am pretty sure I've talked about that before, but if you didn't know, that's my, like, go-to. I eat that probably, like, once a week, which is probably not great for me, but it's delicious, so I don't mind. And the guys there love me. I've been going there, like I said, like, once a week for, like, 2 years or something. The one on my old college campus, which is pretty close to me. And yeah, swung by there and got some halal and watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Liv, and then I went to sleep. It was a good evening, but I didn't make this video. And then all of today, I was recording more gameplay for this LP because I wanted to play a game. And then I ended up rewatching the SpongeBob movie, which I watched it for the first time in several years. And I have some thoughts on it, but I'm going to save it because I don't know if I want to give this away, but who cares? One of the next games that I plan on doing, I don't know if I'm going to do it immediately after this or when I'm going to do it, but pretty soon, I'm going to do another SpongeBob LP. I'm not going to say which one, but I'm going to do another SpongeBob game. And I think it would be more appropriate to go on a long rant about the SpongeBob movie during that LP than this one, because I still need to go on a long rant about this movie. I'm waiting to do that because I don't, you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to keep some juicy stuff for later on in the run. You understand? But yeah, that's what I did today. And what else? I watched some Batman, the animated series. I played a lot of Minecraft. I've just been dicking around in creative mode in Minecraft lately, making my own little world. I just finished making a big train station. Those minecart things going to all different parts of the map, and now I'm making this big, like, city that's half above and half underwater, and I'm just, you know, experimenting with creative mode stuff and having a good time. And I went to the grocery store. I was watching Cash Cab with Liv. If you can't tell, on my days off, most of my day consists of, like, doing video stuff, playing a video game, and, like, watching TV and or a movie. But anyway, this is the sort of rigmarole that we're going to go through at the end of each major level, where the rats are stealing the food and you have to direct them, and there's usually 2 or 3 different little mini game things, and that's how you wrap things up. And then each one ends with a chase sequence, so spoilers, this is the lead up to that.
Even I know a rat anywhere near a kitchen is bad for business.
Not good. Gotta go.
I love how there is never a hint of, like, worry in Remy's voice in this game. Like, he's in crazy scenarios and you're just like, oh, jeez. I don't know, it's funny. But anyway, yeah, this is the first of several chase sequences in the game where you are running towards the screen. And usually I don't like these because I don't like not being able to tell what's next, which certainly is part of the challenge of this game. But if you kind of just, like, go forward and trust and just have decent reaction time, you can do pretty well. And I am happy that I had a rather flawless run of this, because I always hate... One of the things in this game, with these and the slides, it's always a bummer whenever you fuck up, because... And the dream sequences as well, because I like getting into a rhythm and just, you know, hopping, and I hate when that rhythm is interrupted, especially on the slide ones, because you're going quick and it's fun. But yeah, that one's pretty short and relatively easy. They get more and more complicated and kind of harrowing as you go on. But they're really fun. I like those parts of the game, the chase sequences. They're neat. But yeah, we have more cutscene here.
But why? How? Either I hit my head harder than I thought, or you're the rat that helped me with the soup. It doesn't matter. Thing is, I could use a tiny chef like you around the kitchen. How about I promise not to chase you anymore, and you promise to teach me to cook? Okay, then it's a deal. You know, I think this might be the start of something very special. Can you start tomorrow?
So now we have the next slide section of the game, and these already, this is where they get a little tricky. Like, we have only had one before this, but this one is already a tad harder, and the narrower that the platforms get and the more numerous the gaps get is really when the difficulty of these starts to amp up. And yeah, I'm already like fucking them up. It sucks. But yeah, I hate patting the ground and having to get myself going again. Like, it sucks. I wanna go just quick, and I imagine that I would have that same feeling if I played more Sonic games, because I remember that when I was playing whatever 3D Sonic game was the last one I played, which was a while ago. I want to say it was probably Sonic Colors, because I do own that. But I would always get really mad when, like, the rhythm of running really quickly got interrupted, and usually it was just something that the game threw at you. It wasn't because you made a mistake. But yeah, this part can be a little bit tricky. I tried to do this part, but then that happens. I really, like, don't... There haven't been many times where I have not fucked that part up, so I don't even try it the second time. It's not really worth it. Okay, I'm falling anyway. Jesus. But whatever. I was just admiring the sliding section. Whoopsie. Yeah, sorry. I'm just tired and distracted. I've just been kind of chilling all day after a long week at work, so I'm kind of brain dead at this point. But, I was just thinking about, thinking of movies from the 2000s, and I think I've made this point before, probably on my other account, on my other channel, but there's something about, I was thinking about it while watching the SpongeBob movie, and thinking about the second SpongeBob movie in comparison, as well as the first Incredibles versus the second Incredibles, Finding Nemo versus Finding Dory, and just in general, like, 2000s and 90s movies versus 2010s movies. And I hope this makes sense to people when I say that movies from the 2000s have, like, a different rhythm and feel to them than the 2010s. And I think more recent movies are, like, quicker. They're faster paced, and I don't know, they don't let moments breathe as much, I don't think. I find that in a lot of new movies and stuff, I find them to be going very quickly, like rushing. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the moments are less deliberately constructed and timed. You know what I mean? Like, there doesn't seem to be as much thought put into the amount of time, the amount of space given to a certain scene. I don't know if I'm making any sense. And obviously this is not an all-encompassing observation. This isn't something true of all movies from the 2000s versus 2010s. I'm just saying, especially animated movies, they feel much more quick and like kind of thrown together than I like sitting on this thing and letting it flip you up and down. Than those older films. I don't know if anyone's can understand what the fuck I'm talking about, but I was thinking about it because the SpongeBob movie, like, there are scenes, like, there are moments that feel distinct from each other, and they kind of move naturally, whereas the second movie just goes from thing to thing really quickly, nothing really strings them together, and I find that feeling a lot with newer cartoon movies, and I don't really know how else to explain it other than that. But anyway, this is just kind of fucking around here, but I'm exploring the sewer area. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies for you to look around in. I'm about to speed it up in a second because there's no point in watching me go into all of the little houses one by one, which I did because I think like 2 or 3 of them have stars in them, but it's not consistent at all. That thing saves your game for some reason, apparently. And yeah, you gotta be careful not to die, because it's very easy to just hop off of one of these high areas and get fucked, as I just did. But yeah, this is mostly just me collecting stars, so nothing too important or interesting. Music is very funny, sped up. But yeah, that's just something I've noticed in my months to years long excursion of revisiting things from the early 2000s that I liked, early to mid 2000s. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that stuff. I don't know why I've made it such a big part of both of my channels. I don't think it'll be something I do forever, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff from the 2000s that's interesting to think about and that I grew up with and have stuff to say about, so I don't think it'll ever go away entirely. It's when I grew up, so it's a time period that I think about a lot. And just, like, there are good games from there. I mean, regardless of whether or not I grew up with them, like, this era of video games is probably my favorite. Like, the GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and into the Wii era. And, like, the DS and everything. Like, when I think of a lot of my favorite games, they are either from more recently. By more recently, I mean, like, earlier 2010s, or they're like, 2001 to 2007 or 8. So I don't know, I don't feel ashamed of it, but also on top of it being comforting nostalgia, as I've talked about in previous LPs, that I think it's fun to go back to these things. I think it's why, nostalgia is such a big part of our culture now, is because it allows us to re-perform parts of the past that we remember. But they're just our memories of the past, which of course are copies of copies, memories of memories. It's not the actual reproduced thing. And that's what a lot of our media exists to do, is to just, try to repackage those same feelings, but as we remember them, not necessarily as they actually were. And, you know, to send you back to that place, it provides a sense of comfort to go to a place that isn't now, because now sucks, obviously. And that's something that I think almost all people living today, especially in our society, yearn for, is some idea of the past, whether or not it was real or not really entirely real. Yeah, I think a lot of us long for that, and so that's where a lot of our media consumption is directed, yeah, that's what it's directed by. That's what I was trying to say. But on top of that, it's also, you know, not just the comforting nostalgia thing, but because I have the benefit of hindsight. I have gotten older, and I am still consuming these things, and I can think about them, and wow, I'm zooming in this part. God damn. This is just like a fun little mini game you can do. It's optional. I don't think you have to do it. But yeah, it's just kind of in here, and get some stars. I think I missed a bunch, so maybe I'll go back and do it again, because it's just it's a pretty easy way to get stars. Pretty linear, straightforward pathway and everything. But, you know, that hindsight allows me to better understand and articulate my feelings about these things. Like I said earlier, I watched the SpongeBob movie for the first time in a while. Oh, I got all the stars. Hell yeah, I'm killing it today. And, you know, had an entirely new perspective on it that I've been thinking about a lot. And that's the cool thing, and that's the reason that I go back to these things, is because I'm hoping that I can find something interesting out of coming back to these things, and not just like, oh yeah, I remember this, when I was a kid I did it this way, but now I'm older, but instead being like, oh, the experience I've had in life up to this point has changed how I'm looking at this thing I'm familiar with. That's cool. And that's what I'm all about, folks. But anyway, that's all for now. See you on Monday for more Ratatouille.